Hello, love. Welcome to Feeling Fridays here on the Libran Key. These are messages for the highest and the greatest good of the Empath Collective and the Empath Journey here on Mama Gaia. Part of the Elsh Collective, of course. Empaths, light workers, starseeds, and healers, awakened and awakening souls. Know that if this message has found you or you have found it, that there is something here for you. That is always the intention that I put into these messages. I'm starting this Feeling Fridays very much on an energy coming through. This is archangelic energy that wants to give us soul support messages, an energy update. There's a whole slew of things that they want to bring through right now, and they've got me working with Amethyst and Charoite. Okay, these two purple ray energies essentially is what they're saying to me. A lot of violet flame kind of activity going on, the energy of transmutation taking place, wanting to confirm that. Specifically, I'm seeing Archangel Raphael and Archangel Sandalphon wanting to really come forward for this, and also Archangel Michael, because remember that Amethyst is also an energy of protection and psychic protection as well, right? Calming the mind. There's a lot of that wanting to come through. Also an energy with the retrograde energy of Mercury wanting to come through with regard to second guessing things, double checking things, going back to things, reviewing things. It's another thing. The solar eclipse energies, the reverberation of that, a lot of discombobulation, all though for the better, for the highest and the greatest good, for change, for getting us on our highest timelines. The whole shebang pretty much is what they're saying to me. Okay, now they didn't give me much to run on with regard to any kind of images, any kind of meditation going into this. They wanted me to just hold these crystals and start recording. And that's pretty much where we're at. They want me to get into the cards right away, and they want this message to be one that is going to be digestible, is what I'm hearing. Archangel Sandalphon really wanting to come through for that, to help us to ground these energies, okay? And we're going to talk about a little bit, he wants to talk a little bit about food again with regard to that. That had come through last Feeling Fridays, making sure you're paying attention to the food that you're eating, how your soul is speaking to you, aligning to the proper food and energies, no matter what that is, okay? And making sure that it is healthy, obviously, for you. The choices we make with regard to food energetically, where that's coming from. And also another very specific message here with regard to empaths, because this is Feeling Fridays, being very sensitive to food and where food actually comes from energetically. This is really interesting because they're talking about live foods, energy in live foods, and any food that we eat, whether it has come into contact with the air, the sun, the fire, of all the elements, is what they're showing to me. They're even showing me, for example, if you're someone who eats chicken, if you're someone who eats beef, where is that beef and that chicken coming from? How are these animals treated? Are they seeing the sun? Are they, stepping on the earth? Are they interacting with the earth? Like, are these pasture raised, for example? Because a lot of the times we talk about live food and immediately, or food that has been touched by the sun. And while it is very important to be eating from Mama Gaia and from the earth and from plants, for example, that have seen the sun, it's not just plants that see the sun. This is interesting because this was something that had, it had come through for me in a completely different way. I can't remember if I was listening to something. It could have been someone else doing a reading. Maybe it was Amanda Ellis talking about that. I know that she was speaking to something with regard to sun. and this could also have to do with the Schumann resonance, because she was speaking to that in I think in the video that I was watching her, and she was talking about foods that have actually come into contact with the sun. And that entails anything here on Mama Gaia. And obviously, for some reason, one of the things that I also I feel the need to add here is because Archangel Sandalphon and Archangel Raphael are really bringing this in crucially, is it's anything that's come into contact with that, but also with the earth. Because they're showing me mushrooms now. And even though mushrooms are a form of fungus or fungi, and they grow in damper, more shadier places, they're still of the earth. They're still of the water is what they're showing me. And they just really simply want us to be very cognizant of where we're getting our food. I feel like there might be a different, okay. I feel like there's a deeper message here that wants to come through. And I'm just gonna tune into that here for a second. I'm hearing there's a lot of misconceptions about the kind of food that we are, quote unquote, supposed to eat. Misconceptions. They're showing me, I don't know, I feel like this is going to be one for those of us who still eat fish, still eat meat to a certain capacity. They're showing me the energies of indigenous cultures, honoring the earth, honoring the animals, rituals with regard to animals, hunting. I'm seeing animals being skinned. I'm being shown how animals have been revered and honored in these ways in indigenous cultures, showing how nothing goes to waste. Nothing goes to waste. And then I'm being shown that compared to something that is being created in a factory, or the factory farming that goes on with animals, which is like immediately makes me feel in my body, I tense up. It's enough to make you sick, right? How animals can be inhumanely treated, and that is dishonoring the spirit of that animal, dishonoring the energy of that animal, because everything is source is what they're showing to me, right? Everything is source, and everything that is holistic and holy, and there's a connection to that, right? The holistic being holy and sacred and revered and honored. These indigenous cultures had rituals around how they interacted with the animals, how those animals were taken into their bodies energetically. They keep on showing me the importance of being mindful of our food. I did not expect this to come through. I just want to make a note of that. I just want to say that, because I know that this food thing has been coming up quite a bit lately. And really what Archangel Sandalphon really wants to show me with that is the importance of our physical bodies, making sure that we are tending to our physical bodies. We will be no good to the ascension process and the expansion of consciousness here on Mama Gaia, is what he's showing me, if we are not tending to our physical bodies and making sure that they are nourished. And some of you in the last video, thank you so much for your beautiful comments as well. Thank you, family, for being here. My goodness, it was like rearing to go to get into these messages. One of the things that some of you were saying was that just listening to your bodies, and Archangel Sandalphon is like making a huge nod to that. You need to listen to your bodies. You need to, one day you may be craving this, your body's telling you that, and he's not saying this is anything to do with how we understand like sugar cravings or cravings for food that is essentially junk, is what he's saying. Processed foods, foods that are not natural, foods that are not close to Mother Earth. Look at it that way, right? When our body, it's different from a craving, right? When our body is, he's almost showing me it like aching or throbbing or pulsating in a way for some type of food where we feel the need to eat something, okay? He's showing me also vegetables, fruits and vegetables especially. That goes without saying, you know? Like, I know that there are some people out there who are all about like the sugar and fruits, and it's like, no. You know, if you're worried about that, that's something to look into in terms of maybe looking at, he keeps on showing me apples. I'm just seeing apples and pears. For some people, bananas are okay too. Not for me. I think I mentioned that in the last video, but go with what works for you, okay? Go with what works for you. And obviously, if there are certain health conditions that you are working with, be incredibly mindful of that, right? Again, I'm not a doctor. I don't have a PhD, you know, in any kind of medical discipline, but do what feels right for you, okay? And perhaps seek that type of advice if you need to. You know, I'm being shown like the work of naturopaths and nutritionists as well. That might be something that might be helpful to you, okay? 1111 on the counter as I say that, and they want me to get into the cards. So basically, this is a continuation, is what they're showing me, of last Friday. Slightly different though, because we're looking at actually at the energy, how we need to focus on making sure that we have the energy capacity and our bodies are recharged enough for us to do the energy work. That's what he's showing me, okay? Okay. I'm seeing a massive bird that I cannot make out, and it feels like a thunderbird. Okay, they're connecting me to the will. I had done a message on the thunderbird. They want me to bring this into the reading. I'm going to post that video here, okay? I don't even remember the message that came through for that. All they're directing me to here is the solar plexus, the energy of the thunderbird. I'm being shown the color yellow. I'm being shown the yellow ray, and this going back to our willpower. I'm hearing the will to tend to your body, the willpower to tend to your body, because it feels, even though for me this has been something that's been very top of mind the last 2-3 weeks, with all the shifts energetically that have been taking place, I'm also getting the message that it hasn't been that way for all of us, okay? It hasn't been that way for all of us, for all empaths. Some of us are actually neglecting our bodies, is what he's showing me. He's showing me the red. I'm seeing the root chakra, the sacral and the solar plexus, going back to this energy of the grounding in the body. He's showing me, and we talked about this on Tuesday, Transmission Tuesdays, this center of the body, and doing those energetic practices to really be connected to those centers right now. Because a lot of the light code energy, the solar flares, the Schumann resonance, these shifts that are taking place are really activating our upper chakras, but we need to be getting into our bodies more than ever. So essentially what Archangel Sandalphon is showing me right now and laughing about is that this is a continuation of Transmission Tuesdays and the last Feeling Fridays message. Both those last messages, okay? I will link those videos below, okay? Because they seem to be a continuation of that. Let me just make a note of that. So, you know, because oftentimes when I come out of these messages, I forget half of what I do, what I say. Okay, I'm going to be asking through the Light Seers Tarot here. We're going to start with that. And they directed me to the Healing Waters Oracle. So let's see what wants to come through that, because I feel like the water and the water elementals really want to speak to that. As I cut the deck, the Hanged Man comes out, and she is suspended over water. There's an energy here of pause, is what they're showing me, of rest, of reconsideration, of a change in perspectives with regard to what we are putting into our bodies, what we are consuming, not just physically, but also energetically. And there's a little bit of I'm hearing ego residue with regard to that. Indoctrination and programming residue with regard to that. Eight of Swords in reverse as we say that. This is an energy of coming out of limiting beliefs, of, again, the programming and the indoctrination, thinking that because we're spiritual, we're supposed to eat a certain way, okay? And specifically, this goes for, there's a lot of generally, what I kind of come across in the spiritual community, and the thing is, it's different depending on what kind of spiritual practices you engage in, right? But one thing that is a general consensus that comes through a lot is having a vegetarian or a vegan diet, okay? And that doesn't work for everybody. That doesn't work for every, I'm hearing energetic practice. That's what they're saying to me. And again, one example that keeps on coming up very, very prominently, that they keep on showing me, is indigenous cultures. Especially those, I'm seeing indigenous cultures in Canada. They're showing me the Aborigines in Australia. I'm seeing South American culture as well. Okay, they're showing me how connected they are to the earth, the land, this spiritual reverence and understanding for the cycle of death and rebirth. Whoa, and they're showing, okay, and they're showing our bodies like Mother Earth, taking in, I'm seeing vultures now too, like the scavengers, the vultures, I'm seeing carcasses of animals being taken into the earth, and her transmutation of that, her energy, the cycles that are all a part of this. But they're showing me how this has to be done mindfully. This has to be done with reverence, because everything is spirit, everything is source. Your life, your work, I'm hearing that phrase, is a moving prayer. 17 to 17 on the counter as I say that. It's a moving prayer. It's an understanding that you are a part of it all. You are a part of it all. And right now, you need to be at your best. Your strength needs to be there. You need to be feeling energized. You need the strength to be able to take in more of the light, to take in more of the consciousness. This body is a temple, is what I'm hearing. So honor it as such, and do what feels right for you. And as long as you are doing this mindfully and you are being cognizant of what you are taking in, that is what matters. That's where this energy of, yeah, they want me to tell, okay. That's where this energy of shifting paradigms, shifting mindsets is really coming through. So we've got the Knight of Pentacles coming out here with the Four of Cups. Yeah. Because there's a new energy that's wanting to come in here. And processing this energy through the body is taking its time. It's being very methodical. They're showing me slow movement of the body right now, stretching, digestion, taking in energy. Some of us are bringing new foods and energies into our body that are taking time to process. But it's important that we take the time to do that. It's important that we respect that, because we're sowing seeds, is what I'm hearing. Physical seeds in our reality by doing that. It's like training. That's how they're showing it to me right now. I'm seeing these pentacles as us nourishing our body, these pentacles moving into the earth, nourishing our body, taking time, and look at how varied these colors are, right? Look at how varied these colors are. These are lots of different things. They could even be things that you were opposed to at one time. And now you're thinking, I need this. And what's interesting is that these are turning into, yeah, there's a lot of electric energy going on here. So these are turning into, oh, interesting. Okay, what they're showing me right now. These pentacles are turning into this rainbow light that's moving into this cup that she's not looking at. So they want to address here an emotional almost imbalance that we might be having with regard to this. We don't want to, we're kind of looking at it in terms of these are the old things that we believed in, emotionally that felt right. But they're showing me that we're cracking through new energy. We're cracking through these old ideas. Okay, they're showing me the energy of guilt right now. Feeling guilty. Look what's at the bottom of the deck. The Devil in reverse. Just like the Eight of Swords in reverse. Rising above, overcoming these limiting notions, beliefs, the things that we had convinced ourselves were actually the way to go. Because they're giving me an analogy of somebody who legit, for the sake of some ideal or some idea of what they thought they were supposed to do in terms of food, okay, totally sick, not able to eat, not able to digest, having issues with their digestion, and yet they're hell-bent on, well, really that should be this way, but hell-bent on sticking to a certain thing because 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or something they read said to them that this is the way you should be doing it. Because some particular guru that they follow, and I use that word very tentatively here in quotation marks, but that's what's coming through. Somebody said once, you need to be this, you need to eat that, you can't eat that. And you're absolutely sick. And your body, okay. And your body is craving something completely different. Your body is giving you massive signals that this is not working for you anymore. They're giving me the analogy of dreams. If you're seeing certain foods in your dreams, and you're like salivating over these foods and you need to eat them, that is definitely something to pay attention to. Okay, they want me to just cut the deck one more time. Yeah, the Ten of Cups in reverse. Again, there's a deeper thing going on here with regard to addressing this emotional, they're saying baggage around what you think you're supposed to be doing related to the things that you're taking into your body. And how some of us are really struggling with this right now. And I completely understand. I really do. Because it can be very, very difficult, you know? Especially if they're like, you've just gotten so used to this and you really truly believe this. They keep on showing me these indigenous cultures. If you're struggling with that, maybe look to those cultures. Look to a culture, perhaps, that eats a certain way. And see how they honor those things, right? Yeah, look at this. 5 of Pentacles with the Chariot in reverse. My goodness, yeah. This is like, you hold the key. You hold the key. This is going back to this Eight of Swords. This is going back to this Eight of Swords that came out in reverse. If we're not changing these things, right? We're not going to be able to move forward. We're also not going to be able to go deeper. The Chariot is the number 7, and that's the energy of going deeper. Remember that the 5 in this 5 of Pentacles also represents the physical body. So what I'm getting with this and what they're showing me is that this is actually a literal message of not getting enough of the nutrients that you need in your physical body and something needing to change. 5 is the number of change. Crisis, this emotional baggage through opportunity through this crisis. Opportunity through this crisis of, well, I thought I was supposed to do this, 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 and that because so-and-so said so, and I really don't want it. I don't want to, you know, be the person that does this. Perhaps for some of you, Perhaps for some of you, this is even around animals and not wanting to hurt animals. This is a really difficult discussion to have, and I can completely relate to this, right? Not wanting to hurt animals, not wanting to be the person that, when you decide you're going to eat, you're going to start eating, chicken or something, because you've been having dreams of like seeing chicken and you need to eat, and you're salivating over this chicken, and you've been sick and you haven't been feeling well. There's an energy here of really having a difficulty grappling with that, right? Feeling just like, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't hurt another being, right? And this is very much connected to a lot of Buddhist teachings, right? With regard to, I believe it's referred to as ahimsa, right? I might be wrong about that, but I can't remember. It's the energy of, not wanting to hurt another being. And the crazy thing is that specifically they refer to it as sentient being, a sentient being. And more research is showing that even plants are sentient. Plants communicate with each other. Trees are sentient. Everything is source is what they're showing to me. Everything holds energy. Everything is sentient. It's the mindfulness and the intention that matters. It's the mindfulness and the intention that matters. Do you pray before you eat? Do you honor your food before you eat? That's being mindful. When you sit, are you on your phone? Are you watching TV? Are you doing something else? Or are you taking in that food and honoring it? Because there is a transmutation that happens when you do that. There is a reverence that takes place when you do that, is what they're showing to me. Yeah, they're showing me like the energy of, I'm seeing a temple. I'm seeing prayer. This is a much deeper connection to what we're taking into our bodies. They're even showing me medicines, like plant medicines and vitamins and supplements and everything that you might be taking, minerals, right? That you might be taking into your body. Honoring it, having reverence for it, thanking it, doing a ritual, activating the life force energy in that food and that supplement before you eat it, before you take it in. Okay, yeah, look at that as I cut the deck. Isle of Avalon, healing, returning to wholeness, transformation. They're basically saying I can end on this. I don't need to pop any more cards. What's at the bottom of the deck? Mother of the salt waters, passion, wild love, open your heart, let love in. And now they're showing me the mother of the salt waters, the salt water, taking in all the bodies of the fish, of the mammals in the water. I'm seeing a whale. I'm seeing a whale decomposing. And I'm seeing other animals taking that energy in, eating off of that, okay? This Isle of Avalon energy is the energy that we need to be in right now with regard to this in our bodies. Healing, returning to wholeness, and transformation, okay? I feel like I need to read from the book from that. I feel like I need to read from the book from that. They want to give me, in case there's an inquiry there or some kind of transformation that wants to come through, and I'm going to end this message on that note, okay? It's an activation, so they want me to do the activation, and they are inviting you to participate with this as well, okay? This has to do, obviously, with the legend that says that Avalon was the island where Britain's mythical King Arthur was taken after being fatally wounded in his final battle. He was taken here to heal, right? Okay, they want me to move forward to the last paragraph here. This is a card of great healing and an invitation to see that your healing is an opportunity for great transformation, that perhaps the parts of you that feel as if they're dying are actually being born anew. Maybe this healing journey is taking you somewhere truly glorious, somewhere sacred deep within, okay? And on that note, something that is dying and actually being born anew, they're tying this back into the cycles of death and rebirth here on Mama Gaia. And the honoring of death and rebirth in indigenous cultures connected to honoring the animals that they ate, the animals that they hunted, honoring the death and the rebirth of life through that process, being nourished by those animals. Okay, that's what they're showing me. All right, inviting you to do this activation, taking this in right now, okay? I surrender to my healing. I activate the sacred intelligence within the waters of my body. I call in all the support that's most helpful. I believe in my ability to transform and heal, okay? And that involves being able to support your physical body, being able to support your physical body in the healing that it requires, in taking in these light codes, in whatever that looks like to you, okay? I'm gonna bring these. I realize now that this amethyst is really coming in to help us also calm the mind around the changes that perhaps we need to make, okay? And this Charoite is very much an energy of helping us in that transformation. All right. Thank you to the beautiful Archangelic realm for coming through for these messages. Thank you, Archangel Michael. Michael wants to come through now and also speak to being protected through this as well. Okay. He's also showing me that you can call upon him to help clear out any residual energies connected to this Four of Cups and this Five of Pentacles, okay? Clearing out those residual energies around perhaps these beliefs that you had that you were very much struggling with in order for you to be in a state of health, in order for you to be healthy, okay? Thank you, Archangel Michael. Thank you, Archangel Sandalphon. Thank you, Archangel Raphael, for coming in for these messages. I thank you for sharing your time, your energy with me in this space. Thank you, family, for all your beautiful comments and for being here. I'm sending you so much love wherever you are. In love and liberation always.